Arguably the most important political meeting in China, the 19th Communist Party Congress wrapped up this week in Beijing's Great Hall of the People. The twice-a-decade gathering is a venue for the Chinese leader to lay out his vision and for outsiders a way to see how much power he has consolidated. We turn to our Kim Hyesung for the key takeaways of the event.
Prosperous, strong, culturally advanced, and harmonious. A national rejuvenation.
We should strive for the great success of socialism with Chinese characteristics in a new era, realize the Chinese dream of national rejuvenation, and see that our people realize their aspirations for a better life.
At the 19th Communist Party Congress, President Xi Jinping mapped out his vision for the country. The China dream to become moderately prosperous by 2020 and a modern socialist strong power by 2049. And all this under the guidance of the Communist Party and President Xi's philosophy. President Xi's vision, or the Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era, was enshrined in the Communist Party charter on the last day of the Congress, making it a guiding principle of the party and confirming President Xi's status as the nation's most powerful leader in decades. This seals President Xi's status ahead of his two immediate predecessors and level with Deng Xiaoping and Mao Zedong, the only two leaders who have had their names added to the Constitution. The move means whoever opposes President Xi or his policies betrays the party, making Xi effectively unassailable. And the 5 new members added to the party's top governing Politburo Standing Committee look set to give Xi even more power.
The 5 new members are all in their 60s, meaning none of them would be an heir apparent. And President Xi did not appoint a successor, breaking away from convention, allowing him to avoid being a lame duck in the second term.
Having consolidated his political power, Xi is expected to continue his anti-corruption campaign and push for economic reform as China, the world's second-largest economy, faces risks like falling into the middle-income trap and growing income inequality.
In his second term, President Xi is likely to push for the restructuring of China's state-owned banks, solve its oversupply problems and mortgage debts, which is a must for China's sustainable growth. This will likely slow down economic growth, so for Korea, a change in export strategy is needed.
President Xi is not just solidifying his power at home, but also casting his eyes abroad with a more assertive foreign policy. In his 3.5-hour speech, President Xi mentioned the phrase strong power 26 times and said China has entered a new era where it should take center stage in the world. That move towards center stage is backed by stronger military power and Xi's signature cross-continental One Belt, One Road project. President Xi has vowed to contribute to the common destiny of mankind, but at the same time,
no one should expect China to swallow anything that undermines its interest.
Raising concerns of more clashes in South China Sea, strained Taiwan-China relations, and for Korea, the THAAD issue.
By pressuring Seoul through THAAD retaliatory measures, China has only strengthened the alliance between the US, South Korea and Japan, which goes against China's national interest. So a shift in THAAD policy, at least separating politics from economics, is expected. South Korea is a key partner for China in the region. I mean, even the One Belt, One Road, it needs support, not conflict, with over 60 countries.
At a new historic juncture in China's development, in a time when U.S. President Donald Trump calls for a protectionist America First policy, President Xi has vowed to secure a brighter future for his country. Mao founded China, Deng reformed the country, and now Xi has vowed to extend their legacy to a new level.
China is a one-part state, and now President Xi is the most powerful man in China in generations. If he uses this power to root out corruption and push for political reform, China will become even more powerful. But if Xi Jinping uses his authority to boost his own power, as we've seen during Mao Zedong's late rule, China could fall into chaos.
Kim Hyesung, Arirang News.